And may we be open to the fact that the one who holds that coin, the eternal, ever-changing in the way it's perceived, but never changing in the way it exists, that force is you, the holder of the coin of birth and death, not the victim of it. Hello, my sweet friend. Welcome to May You Be Open, your series inspired by A Course in Miracles. For the entire month of May, we drop a new video to touch, just gently touch, with a level of openness and possibility in our hearts, a new concept. And when we let the energy of the transmission of that concept wash over us, sometimes a miracle can happen. So I invite you to have a seat, get cozy, get comfy wherever you are, and ask yourself, may I be open, might I be open to the possibility that death is not an absolute, not in the way that we perceive it, and that you, my sweet friend, you are eternal. Let me explain. So for the past 20 days, we've been exploring the possibility that there are two aspects of your existence. The patterned aspect, which is what we call the ego a lot of the time in spiritual communities, that represents the patterns of your mind, the patterns of your emotions, and the patterns of your body. And then there's the animating force that gives life and light to all of those patterns. That's the divine, the untouchable, the eternal, the omniscient, the omnipotent. Throw some words in there, and you've got it. So it's easy to say right off the bat, if you're tracking with me, my love, you know, oh, okay, so all of the pattern stuff that's temporal, temporary, will fade, will shift, will change. But the divine aspect, the animating light inside of the patterns, that's eternal. That's infinite. That never changes. It's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. It is that it is. And depending on how we're choosing to identify in any given moment, that completely affects our relationship with death. Put very simply, death is change. Change is death. And every moment of every day, some version of death is happening to all patterned things, whether they be inanimate objects, rocks, lumber, furniture, pillows, televisions, plastic, or whether they be animate objects, human beings, animals, bacteria, anything that has a pattern to it, anything formed, anything with a formed element in this third dimension is subject to change, is subject to death. Death is change, change is death. So in that way, death is an absolute certainty and a promise. You'll change every day. Your patterns will shift slightly every day. And the way that that unfolds and the timing in which it happens is entirely reliant upon the divine. Entirely reliant upon the script that the great cosmic screenwriters have set into play. And many will try to convince you that you're one of those great cosmic screenwriters, and you are. You are. The author, one might say. But not in the way you've been told in the past. That your patterns, your ego, is both living and writing this script simultaneously. Your ego is living it, but the divine light of awareness that animates you is the author. And it's already been written. It's already done. So when it comes to death, how do we reconcile that? Death is not an absolute for the divine. It doesn't exist for the divine. The divine is unchanging. Death is an absolute for the patterns. They're all temporal. They are ever changing every day. How do we reconcile the difference? We don't need to. We can simply witness our relationship with death, i.e. change, at any given moment, to immediately understand whether we're identifying with patterns or with the divine light that animates those patterns. If we're fearing death, meaning we're fearing change, or we're trying to accelerate or force death, meaning we're trying to accelerate or force change, we know that we are acting from a patterned place. We're trying to use the temporal to change the temporal. When that happens, we can simply sit back, witness, and remind ourselves, may you be open to the possibility that you are a caretaker and steward of these patterns, not the controller. And we can invite ourselves into the divine perspective. Now, when we sit in the divine perspective, things change. From the divine vantage point, when we identify as the light that animates the patterns, we're safe. Completely. We know that change will arise when it's time for change to arise. We know that all of the time that we're granted is exactly the correct amount of time. We know that the patterns we're caretaking are loved, are perfect, are operating exactly as they're meant to. And so we can surrender. When we identify as the divine light of awareness animating what we call ourself, we're identifying with the formless and the eternal, so we can be certain we'll never die. The more we cultivate that perspective and allow ourselves to surrender into that witnessing vantage point, the more we practice trust and openness, the more we allow what is to be without needing to change it. The more confident we begin to become in this truth that death is not an absolute. It is a promise. It is the nature of this reality. But it doesn't happen to us, the light inside. It happens to the pattern that it's animating. It happens at exactly the right moment, in exactly the right way. And in truth, it happens every moment of every day. May you be open to the possibility that death is a medicine, a sweet medicine, a perfect medicine. And rather than resist it, whether it's appearing as the big pattern end when this entire avatar expires, or whether it's appearing as tiny little shifts, like a difference in time that your pattern brushes their teeth every day. It will arise at the moment that it does the most good, that it creates the most expansion, and that it facilitates the most awakening in this world for everyone. Can we trust that death is a medicine as sacred as birth, and is in fact the very same coin, just the opposite side? And may we be open to the fact that the one who holds that coin, the eternal, ever-changing, in the way it's perceived, but never changing in the way it exists, that force is you, the holder of the coin of birth and death, not the victim of it. May you be open. Until we meet again, my sweet friend, I am sending you all of the love that I've got. It's always more and it's never less, because you are so very worthy of it. Thank you for being here. Bye for now.